Okay, I'll just welcome everybody into this session, and I guess a very special thank you to Bas for presenting today and just sharing his time with us. And this is a repeat session, but yeah, we do appreciate presenters doing the second one just so it fits in with other people who missed the first one. So I just want to thank you for your time. I've actually heard some good things about this from some of the other people who attended the first one, so looking forward to seeing it. So over to you.
Okay, thanks. Thanks a lot. Great. Okay, well, welcome everybody to this presentation on building with Bootstrap. A little more about myself. My name is Bas Brands, and I come from the Netherlands, and I've been a Moodle developer since 2009. I've worked at some Moodle partners and some other organizations, and I do a lot of freelance nowadays. So this presentation is on the Moodle Bootstrap theme, and that theme was based on the Twitter Bootstrap framework. Well, I'll show you a bit about how the Moodle Bootstrap theme has been developed and how it has been evolving, and what the future of the Bootstrap theme can be. In this presentation, I'll use a number of technical terms, and I've built this table to let you know what they are, and I hope you won't get confused by them. So first of all, the Twitter Bootstrap itself. Well, Twitter Bootstrap is a framework that you can download from bootstrap.github.com. Then when I say Bootstrap, I refer to the Twitter Bootstrap framework. And then we have the Twitter Bootstrap theme, and that's the theme that's been created for Moodle base, and it's based on Bootstrap. And if you have already tried Moodle 2.5, you might notice that you cannot select the Bootstrap theme. You have to select the theme called Clean to use Bootstrap. So that's theme Clean. And then we have less CSS, and less CSS is actually object-oriented CSS, and you need to compile that CSS before you can use it. Then we have Node.js, and Node.js is an application you can install on your server or your desktop, and that's an application framework that you can build tools on, just like PHP is. And then Recess. Recess is a tool that builds on Node.js, and it generates the CSS for you when you use less CSS. So that's the most difficult part of this presentation. So a bit about the history of this Bootstrap theme we have now. Well, that idea for creating a Bootstrap theme was born during the UK and the Ireland Moodle Moot of 2012. And during that meeting, I met Stuart Lamour, and he showed me a theme that he built in a very short time, and it didn't really work well, but the idea was of using something like Bootstrap for a theme. And he told me how amazingly versatile it is and how easy it is to create themes with that. So, well, we decided to try and build a Bootstrap theme, and we started developing together, I think, for a few months, and then it went kind of quiet. We both were really busy, and then all of a sudden there was a Moodle forum post about using Bootstrap for theming, and that was by David Scottson. And well, I saw that, and of course I thought, well, hey, damn, I was doing that. So instead of just being really, really mucky about that and leaving it, I decided to try and contact David and try to see if he would like to work together on a theme. And well, luckily he did, and we started developing the Bootstrap theme as it is now. Well, we put a lot of effort in that and creating a theme for the plugins database. And this list on this slide shows you a bit more about the people that were involved. So that's me, Bas, then David, he's from Glasgow University, Stuart and Paul Hibbets, he's an early adopter, and he has been presenting at the iMoot as well. about the Bootstrap theme. So that was fun. So yeah, then the theme got adopted into Moodle Core, and that was really cool. The Bootstrap theme is available for version 2.5, and if you want to use it for instance, 2.4, you can download it from the plugins database. And as I said before at the introduction, the theme is called Bootstrap Base, and it's a base theme for Moodle. You cannot select it when you want to change themes on your site. You have to use the theme clean from the theme selector. And if you wish to modify Bootstrap, you shouldn't be modifying the Bootstrap base theme, but you should work from the clean theme. So what is Bootstrap? Well, Bootstrap is a framework, and you use it to create user interfaces or web-based applications. And the introduction on the Twitter Bootstrap website says that it's built by nerds for nerds. And that was fun, I thought, so I added it here. And these are the nerds that created Bootstrap. Jacob Thornton and Mark Otto. And, well, I hope that one day maybe they'll see this presentation, and I just want to say thank you for creating Twitter Bootstrap, because it's really awesome, and I've been having a lot of fun working with it and creating themes from that. So more about Twitter Bootstrap. Well, Twitter Bootstrap is a framework, and it contains lots of things, but its main components are the CSS that it includes and the JavaScript that it offers. Using those tools and adding your own HTML, you can create websites with very little code. All the complex CSS and JavaScript is already being created for you. And on this slide, there's some examples of what Bootstrap provides. And one of these are the icon glyphs. Sorry. And the icon glyphs, they're little icons. You can see here. Maybe I can zoom in a little. Let's try. There we go. Pan, does that work? Great. Okay, we have the icon glyphs. So this is the icon, for instance, is glass, and then you have the descriptor icon glass. And if you want to use that in your website and you have the Twitter Bootstrap framework, all you need to do is add a bit of HTML and then assign a class to it called icon glass. So that's all you need to do to use this image, to use this icon. You don't have to refer to an image or a separate icon. You can just use these classes. So that makes it really easy to create applications and create websites that have dynamic icons or things like that. So that's really nice. That's in there. So we have some buttons as well, and I like these buttons because they're not only a nice shape and have these texts, but they also have colors, and each color code states a different state of a button. For instance, a success button would be green, and a danger button would be red, and that helps people finding the right button on forums, for instance, quicker. So there's other stuff there too. For instance, drop-down menus. And if you create websites or whatever, design something, well, drop-down menus can be a pain to create. And when you use the Twitter Bootstrap framework, it's all really easy. So you just have to have a list of items and put a bit of HTML around them, saying that this is a drop-down and these are the items, and it will just create this drop-down for you. So that's really nice. There's a lot of JavaScript in Bootstrap too. And the JavaScript, for instance, takes care of these kinds of functionalities, type ahead. So if you have an input field and you start inputting text, it will just autocomplete that, and you have a select drop-down menu with items you can select. So Oh, I need to zoom out again. So how do I make that fit? Like that. Okay. So what is a Moodle theme? That's important to know if you want to know a bit more about the Bootstrap theme. Well, Moodle themes basically style and position the HTML you have in a page. So that means it gives it the right colors, the right position on the page if it floats left or right. So that's the basic part of creating a theme. But Moodle themes contain more. They also contain PHP code that you use to decide which type of page you're on, which body classes for CSS you have. They contain the HTML format, the layout of your page, and much more. They also contain things like renderers, and renderers are used to change the actual output that is in Moodle. So if you, for instance, have a table with fields in it, and you want to have that table behave differently, put out different HTML, you could use a renderer to rewrite how that works. So Moodle themes have evolved from fairly simple templates into really complex bits of code that can be built. So the Moodle Bootstrap theme, well, this is a screenshot of my Bootstrap website with the Bootstrap theme on it. And I was hoping to do some screen sharing, but turns out that my Java version was out of date and that didn't work. So anyway, you can visit that website. It's theming.sonsbegmedia.nl. So don't do it right now, but I'll just type it in here. Okay, that's it. And that, of course, has been built using Bootstrap. And the difference between a regular Moodle theme and the Bootstrap theme is that it uses HTML5, so HTML5 tags, and that takes care of the blog regions and positions it to the left and the content regions to the right. And that's different from how standard Moodle themes do that. They use areas that are regular diffs, and this is called an aside in HTML5. So, and this is called a section. So that's a bit different. You won't see that from the outside, of course. And it's been made to be responsive, and that means that if you have it on your mobile or whatever, you would have this drop-down menu here in top of the page, and the main content would be the first part that is shown on your mobile. And if you scroll down or slide down, you'll find the blocks at the bottom of the page. So now we have a basic Bootstrap theme. We can use that to expand and to create new themes. And I've already been doing some themes and creating some extra features for the Bootstrap theme and things like this. So for instance, here we have a theme I call Theme Red, and notice the top menu, the nav bar. What I've done is adding my modules menu, and if you click that, it will show you the courses you're enrolled in, and it uses the Bootstrap drop-downs, so it was really easy to create. And then within the module menu, you would have the sections you would have in a course. So, and in the navbar, we have the profile drop-down. If you click this, you can go to links like edit my profile, and you can see how many unread posts you have. And then we have the settings menu, and the entire settings menu was rewritten to fit in this drop-down. And it can get really big, and I'm not sure if it's always a good idea, but for a user that doesn't use it a lot, it might be better to have it up here. And of course, the logout button. So that's Theme Red. And this is Theme Red too. And this is Theme Red on a mobile. And we have the same menu items in here. They're only positioned different, and that's because of the Bootstrap framework. So it notices that you're on a browser, or you're on a mobile browser, or on an iPad or whatever, and it repositions the menu items, and you would access them by clicking on this button, the theming button, and these would expand downwards. So and that helps people access these menus on mobile devices. So, and this is another example of a theme built on Bootstrap. I added this notification icon that tells you that you have a message waiting, and it uses some Bootstrap HTML to create that little one there in the top left. Zoom in again. And you have a logout button, of course, and the rest of it is just plain styling. So I just added some colors and a background to create this theme. Here's another example. It uses the Bootstrap grid, and the Bootstrap grid is something you use to make up your site layout, to create your site layout. So if you look at this screenshot, you can notice that it has 3 columns. Well, standard Bootstrap provides 12 columns, and you could use all 12 of them, or you could just do a little calculation and figure out how many of the columns you need to create one of these elements. So if you have 12 columns and you want to use 3, each item would consist of 4 columns. So and in this, that will be a bit of HTML you put into the theme, and that would decide the span of one of these columns. So this will be span 4, this is span 4, and this is span 4. And well, the nice thing is that if you use that, you can use it on all elements that you create in your theme. So this is a help dropdown that I've clicked here, and it uses the Bootstrap dropdown functionality. And it adds in this HTML that has 3 columns with the spans. And of course, if you use this on a phone, these columns will be repositioned to fit the phone size. So here's a bit of that HTML I've been talking about. This is a bit for the drop-down. So we have a navbar, we have a drop-down, and a link that controls the drop-down. And this is the drop-down menu content. So you could have anything you like in here, or you could have list items for a listed drop-down where you can select one of the links that's in the list items. And that's all there's to it. So you just add this bit of HTML and Bootstrap does the rest for you. So, well, more into Bootstrap. There's this element of Bootstrap you can use, you don't have to, but we use it for the Moodle Bootstrap theme. That's less CSS. And this is a screenshot of the website, lesscss.org. And actually, that website can explain you everything there is to know about the Less for Moodle. It's a one-page website that has a lot of explanation and text on it on how Less works, and it'll take you about an hour or so to read that website and understand how Less works. So, but I'll show you anyway a bit of Less code. So here we have some Less code, and you can see that if you're familiar with CSS, that this would not work as valid CSS because this doesn't exist in CSS. You have a declaration for the class category box, and within that you have another, and that's a bit weird for regular CSS. So what this actually does is tell the CSS generator called Recess to create CSS and put the category box class above category list. and category box will be above category 2. And within there we have an image. So this gives you a nice overview of how the CSS is built up. And this is just the part that describes nesting with Bas. It can do a lot more. It can have variables. For instance, if we always have 5 pixels for something and that you use that a lot in your theme, you could have a variable that says add margin size, and you could refer to that variable within your less CSS. And of course, that helps you to change CSS easily. You can just change one variable and it will be updated everywhere in your CSS. So this bit of CSS would compile to something like this. And here we see standard CSS that a browser can read and can use, and you see the category within the category box and category list within the category box. So this is standard CSS and that would work. So how did we do this for Moodle? Well, Moodle has its own CSS, and a lot of that CSS has been created throughout the years by Moodle's core developers. There's lots of it. So what David and I did was to create these list files that represent the parts of Moodle that use styling, and we created list files from them. Some of them will just contain the exact same CSS as the old base theme had, but some of it really uses the less structure and the less programming. So that's the Moodle bits. And then we have the Bootstrap bits. And going to the pan to the right, yeah. So here's all the styling and the less stuff that we have for Bootstrap. And we didn't create any of this. We just downloaded it from the Bootstrap website and put it into the Bootstrap theme. And we didn't modify it, of course, because we want to be able to update Bootstrap itself too. I think somewhere this year version 3 will come and we can update the Bootstrap theme to use version 3. So now that you have a theme with Bootstrap and there's something else. I think that's one of the coolest features that Moodle Bootstrap has, and Bootstrap itself, is that it can support boot swatches. Well, boot swatches are actually themes for Twitter Bootstrap. And here to the right, you see some examples of the website bootswatch.com, and you see some examples of themes that use different styling, different fonts, different colors. So there's lots of differences here. And in Bootstrap, you're able to just use one of these themes and extend the theme really easily, and you can just download them. And usually these downloads contain 2 files. One's called bootswatch.las and the other is called variables.las. Well, the Bootstrap one contains the extra styling that the Bootswatch offers you. So that could be added fonts, fonts from Google, stuff like that, repositioning of stuff. And then you have the variables, and the variables determine what colors you use, what font sizes you use, the color of the navigation menu, the breakpoint of the theme, so when does it collapse, and shows you the drop downs for iPhones and such. So just using these 2 files, you can really change Bootstrap. Here's an example of me using the United Bootswatch. So this uses a custom font, and it uses different colors. So it's not much, but it just took me 5 minutes to change Bootstrap into something that looks like this. And here's another example. Oh, that's one too far. Here's another example where I went a little crazy with the Bootstrap theme and I wanted to create my own Bootswatch just for fun. And I really got inspired by the guys from OKFocus, web design agency from New York, and they create websites that are actually quite ugly, but I think they're real fun. And if you want to check out this boot swatch, you can go to my theming website, and there's a switch button where you can switch to this theme. And it has some moving shades and stuff like that. It's just for fun. So now that we have Bootstrap, we can also modify other bits of Moodle. So now we have a theme, and that's the basis for creating applications and the basis for doing more things with Bootstrap in theming. And for instance, I used something from a website, I think it's called Pan Bootstrap. Anyway, the link is at the end of this presentation, but it shows you links to other projects that use Bootstrap as its base. So for instance, there was somebody that created a custom theme for the TinyMCE editor that fits the Bootstrap theme. And it was really easy for me to just simply copy that, put it into my Moodle environment, and I was done. It just worked. So that's one of the cool features of Bootstrap. Another example, I've created a course topic, and that's available on my websites too in the course called Features Demo. And it shows you, gives you a course format where you can just click on one of the topic names. So I didn't put in any topic names here, so that's just regular topic 1, 2, 3. And if you click on one of them, if I would click on one, item 2 would collapse and item 1 would open. And well, doing that with JavaScript and Moodle and regular Moodle code would take up a lot of time. And all I did was just copy the topics format and changing the HTML a little to fit Bootstrap, and Bootstrap did the rest for me. So another example. There's cool things in there too, like this progress bar, these progress bars, and well, this is a still image, of course, but on a real Bootstrap site, this would be an animated thing, so you would see it kind of turn around, and you have all these styling elements available, so you can create really cool applications that use that. So here's some pictures of kittens, and these kittens are part of a gallery in a course, and using Twitter Bootstrap, you can really easily create galleries, and perhaps you've seen that on websites. I know for sure that the iMoot's website uses Bootstrap, and I think one of the standard galleries on the front page, where you see Martin Liviamus sliding by, that uses the carousel plugin for Bootstrap. And all you need to do is add some images with the right HTML around it, and it will create such a carousel. And a plugin idea of a way of creating that kind of gallery would be using a filter in the HTML editor. So we would have to develop a filter that filters out bits of the HTML editor that people type in, and then if they would type in, for instance, a code like start carousel and then some images, it would just create that carousel of images for them in the course label or whatever. More future development. I really like the type ahead, and recently I came across a project on GitHub for Bath University where they created a course search, and it just automatically searches through all courses available in Moodle. It searches for course name and course descriptions, so it's quite powerful. And you can just start typing and it will autocomplete that. And with Bootstrap, that looks really cool, I think. And of course, there's Clippy. This has nothing to do with Bootstrap, but I did create a plugin, a block that adds in Clippy to Moodle, and I'm really hoping to get it into core one day. So there's more plans we have with Bootstrap. For instance, we already have a grid course format, but it would be really cool to try and do that with the Bootstrap framework. I'd really like to embed more video and use HTML5 video. And There's this website from OK Focus that's called imbadshit.com that really creates nice fitting bits of HTML video without all the controls that look ugly. And I'd like to create something like that for Bootstrap. The carousel of images I was just talking about, so having a filter that would really make it easy for users to create such a carousel. And a grid with course images. Oh yeah, what? I think it was bad shit. Sorry, language. Bad shit.com, something like that. And a grid of course images. Well, now we have 2.5, and it has a new feature for courses where you can upload an image for your course, and I really, really love that. And you could imagine having a homepage with not only the title of the course and the course descriptions on it, but a grid of buttons that you would click to go into the course, and that, of course, would work really well on iPads and phones and tablets. So I think having something like that would be really cool for Moodle and would really, yeah, make it more mobile and more accessible. And I know that now Moodle has changed its development strategies a little bit. Like they have the front-end developers and the back-end developers, and I hope the front-end developers will be focusing on that too. Yeah, Gavin, that's the problem. You have to upload these images, and they have to look okay, and they shouldn't be a 10 megabyte picture that somebody's taking from his camera. So yeah, there are some problems to that, but if you have good images and you don't have too many courses, that could work. Oops. So there's more reading on Bootstrap. There's tons of websites out there that have information on Bootstrap, and just recently there's a O'Reilly book published on Bootstrap that tells you the basics of Bootstrap. So if you want to go and work with it, I would advise you to find a good book and good information on Bootstrap theming. Just before this presentation, I published my blog post that is on this presentation. So there's more information there. There's more examples, and much of the things I've explained here are explained there too. And there's a preview of the Bootstrap theme. That was the URL I just typed in the chat window. You can download the Moodle Bootstrap 2.4 theme, of course, from the plugins database. Thursday, I did the latest update, and I ported the changes we had in for 2.5 back to 2.4, those that were any use, of course, for 2.4. Oh yeah, the website that had all these cool examples is called bootsnip.com. And you'll find many cool projects there and many things that you can try out if you're a developer, or just look at, and if you think that might be useful for Moodle, you might post it in one of the forums. There's explanation on the Bootstrap theme on Moodle Docs, and Gavin here did a review on Theme Clean that tells you a bit more about the theme and how it works and what you can do with it. Well, that's it. Well, thanks everybody for attending, and of course, thanks to David Scottson, Stuart Lemur, Mary Evans, Paul Hibbets, and Martin Duguiamas for putting all this effort into creating the Bootstrap theme, and of course to the iMoot organizers for doing all this and making this a really cool event again. Well, if you have any questions, just type them in the chat window, or any suggestions or any ideas of what we could do with Bootstrap or what we should do. Thanks, Gavin. Oh, think so. Well, there's the recording, of course, if you came in late, and my blog post has much of the information that I told about. Yeah, Shane, well, if you find something really cool, just give me a message. Cool.
Hi, Bess, and let me just say thank you once again for just spending your time and sharing this, and thank you for putting all this into Moodle as well, the Bootstrap team. Um, yeah, as I said, my head's full of possibilities now from your presentation, so thanks very much.
Okay, thanks a lot. Well, have a nice iMoot.